It's showtime, it's your time. It's game time, it's go time. You got one shot at a gold mine.
Welcome to Black Voices in Color, where we discuss profound topics that focus on Black identity, culture, and Black excellence. We're a student podcast produced by different public schools that elevate the voices of Black students here in our district. I'm Joshua.
I'm Paris.
I'm Anai.
And I'm Savannah. Guys, I've been stressing over prom. It's coming up in a few days. Are y'all ready? You got your outfits picked out? Everything good?
I don't know how I feel because my first outfit it's not going to plan, so I think I'm going to have to go with my backup.
No, for real. I'm in the same boat right now because I almost had a heart attack like last week because I was trying to track my dress and I saw it wasn't shipped yet. And it got here yesterday, thank goodness, but I was really panicking.
Well, that's good for y'all, but nah, I'm not ready. I think prom's going to be something else. Like,
I'm so nervous though, guys. What's your backup though, Josh? What colors are we wearing though? Like, that's really
I got a nice custom jacket. It's black with two 12-inch trails, embroidery.
It's nice. Of course you did.
Here y'all go. What are you wearing?
I'm wearing this light blue, like, sparkly dress.
I'm wearing this light blue, sparkly dress.
All right. Anyways, it's really cute, though, and I'm going with my boyfriend, so we're going to match, so it'll be nice.
Yeah, that's going to be really cute. Like, honestly, I really want the color of my dress to be a surprise, but I will say I plan on being really sparkly and detailed because, like, it's the last prom. Like, this is the last time we'll be able to really pop out, you know?
Definitely. I love that. You got to go all out your senior year.
For real.
Yeah.
Do y'all have plans for how the night's gonna go?
Shoot, just take pictures and go eat some good food.
Nah, for real, but nah, I didn't want to plan the night out. I want to see what happens naturally, you know?
Wait, are you guys going to the after prom?
Isn't that at Boondocks game?
Yeah, it is. I hope it's fun like it was last year, though. Like, I know last time I didn't even get to ride the go-karts at night. Like, they were closed or something.
Yeah. Josh, why did you say Boondocks like that?
Because Boondocks again.
Bro, we only went there last year. You only gone to prom one other year.
We might as well just rent a hotel there and just sleep there overnight.
Bro, whatever. Boondocks is fun. That's all I came for last year. Like the go-karts.
Boondocks needs to sponsor MLK.
Bro,
be so Boondocks, check us out, man.
Yeah, well, I know it's gonna be a fun night overall. Like last year, I even came ready with the outfit change. Like literally. I know it's gonna be really fun, and I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta have that after prom outfit ready.
Yes. But speaking of excited events, I know you guys have also heard about that ice bucket challenge, and we actually did it. Well, you guys did it. I wasn't getting my hair wet. But
I would like to nominate Josh, Paris, and Savannah for the USC Speaking Your Mind Challenge.
Thank you, Anai, for nominating us.
The USC Ice Bucket Challenge is to raise awareness for mental health.
Everyone should be taking care of themselves, thinking about what they're doing every day.
Be kind.
And if you're struggling with something, please make sure you talk to somebody.
In 3, 2, 1.
It looks beautiful. Them curls are gonna pop.
We nominate Javier, Miss Brown. We nominate VT, Don Pierce, Berto, Luna.
Josh, are you good?
I just want to emphasize we're nominating Miss Brown too.
Yeah, Miss Brown, you have to do it before the end of the year.
No.
Oh, yeah, we did it, and you poured the water, but you seemed real excited too.
Yeah, they clearly look excited to pour the water.
No, but yeah, it was cold, and it was fun, though. And I got to say a little bit about mental health.
Yeah, it was freezing. I do love it, though. Like, I don't know why I did the finger gun. I thought it was going to be a blooper. Oh, my goodness. But it was nice to see how much, like, our generation cares about mental health.
Right.
And, like, the fun ways we can promote it. You know what I mean? And everyone is doing this Ice Bucket Challenge. And it's really creative, the different ways we find to inspire others and ways to engage a movement. Y'all should send in your Ice Bucket Challenge videos, you know.
Yeah,
as Student Voices in Color, y'all.
Everyone needs to make a video.
Yeah.
If you're watching this video, you're nominated.
Yeah.
You're nominated.
24 hours.
Literally.
No, but I did think it was really powerful how teens brought back that challenge in a way to raise awareness about a touchy subject. And we are moving closer into adulthood every day. So I feel like all of us kind of have that stress, that constant stress about where we see ourselves years from now. And that could cause a lot of issues with mental health as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Well, that actually plays in hand what we're going to dive in today with our topic of Black entrepreneurship and innovation, which is focused primarily towards youth, which is actually right up my alley. I'll be sharing my own personal story, and we as a collective will be discussing and diving deeper into conversations like why Black entrepreneurship is so important and so much more.
Right.
Yeah, and we hope that this episode today will inspire young innovators to fulfill their goals and know that with us as the podcast, we will have a strong support system and a plethora of connections. At the end of this episode, we would like to recognize a few youth businesses in our own community, but to start us off with our own co-host Josh, he's going to tell us about his story with his own business, Keys to the City.
Yeah.
Being a young Black male, I navigate through challenges I didn't even know I had. And my biggest challenge was the desire to feel secure. Growing up, I straddled the fence of wanting to be included by my friends, my family, my peers, and by society. But there was always that something. In certain instances, you hear the phrase, I should have done this, I should have said this, something just told me. If you're Christian like me, you refer to it as the Holy Spirit. If maybe not so spiritually inclined, you might recognize this something as a gut feeling or even better, your instincts. Growing up, I had everything I ever needed. So then what was stopping me from having everything I ever wanted, becoming everything I know I could be? The answer is simple, me. It's this yin-yang feeling my mom describes as this constant tug-of-war, the battle within between light and dark. I had 2 supporting parents. I had influential figures in my life who'd advise, counseled me, and encouraged me every chance they got. But my greatest struggle was not overcoming the obstacles before me, but conquering the ones within me. Learning to accept that the brilliance within me upon my life was not a burden but a birthright. One that we as humans often fear because it demands that we rise above who we've been. Which is why I started Keys to the City, a youth organization that helps young people like me unlock their potential and see the brilliance within themselves. Unlocking potential one key at a time. Not just my motto but my reminder that my priority and my pace is my individual lifestyle. It's my mission statement and the reason I started my business, Keys to the City. A youth organization that helps young people like me unlock their potential and see the brilliance within themselves. I strive to empower kids who struggle with the same feeling, kids who are fighting this consistent internal tug-of-war. And with my first-hand experience, I'm not here to judge them, I'm here to reach them, to be that space of security so that they can blossom to find theirs. On a normal day, I'd meet up with the kids and they'd do homework and productive activities to keep them occupied. We start the day with a few daily check-ins and debriefs and break into some type of activity. Our activities always have some type of purpose. So the arts and craft normally have affirmations, the games usually teach life skills and things of that sort. We'd normally end the day with a nice meal, and we'd also sometimes take the kids on field trips to water parks and other fun spaces so that the children can play and enjoy fun events. Sometimes all someone needs is a key, a moment, a mentor, someone who sees them when they're invisible to the world. I had those people and I wanted to be that for others. Unlocking potential, one key at a time, is more than just a slogan. It's my mission because keys don't just open doors, they represent access. And when you unlock your potential, you don't just change your life, you give others permission to believe that they can change theirs too.
I think it's so powerful that at your young age, you can recognize that feeling of stagnation and actually do something about it. I struggle with that myself, and I've been poured into so much in my life, and I've just still been stagnant. I've been stagnant to show the world my passions. I have everything I need, so like, what am I doing, you know? So I say thank you for feeding into the youth. Like,
You're
they're
welcome,
inspiring.
bro. I think that's a big part of the process. It's kind of that moment of stillness. Sometimes we be like caught up in so much and we overthink things, and I feel like when we sit in that place of solitude, that place of solitude where we're just by ourselves in isolation, I feel like we learn so much more about ourselves.
Right.
Yeah, I appreciate you being real about the obstacles you faced in the earlier years of life and how that kind of shaped you to become more confident in running your business. I feel like you set a great example on how young Black men should be more transparent with how they envision their hustle and like actually took the action and the steps to make it happen despite how challenging it may be before you actually see the results you were going for. And as you mentioned before, support is also an important factor. I really feel like it adds to the thrill of these big plans is having the people you love rooting for you.
Right.
And your story should inspire more young entrepreneurs our age to step out of that phase of just hiding themselves, hiding their talent, and maybe put themselves out there a little more.
Yeah, and it really does feel like a dialogue on life, like every unspoken thought and like unconscious decision being summarized with one option, you know? Your power and ambition came from lifelong experiences and power. Everyone has a unique story and your purpose, and you can see yours with your everyday interactions and even our conversations. Empowering and inspiring others is really your purpose. You have made hard decisions and experienced difficulty. And your business is so much more than that. It's literally a movement, a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a familyhood. And I definitely wish I could have experienced that in my own childhood, in my own life experiences, and it would have been really valuable. And I'm really excited to see the legacy you create.
Thank you. I'm grateful that you guys see my work as something that's uplifting the community, as something that you guys want to be a part of. That makes me feel welcome, because that's the whole type of feel I'm trying to go for. That's what I'm trying to create.
Yeah, and also I really like the symbolism throughout the video, like how you grabbed your keys and went to the city.
That was real tough. That was my idea, that little ending scene.
We get it, Savannah Einstein.
But what was your passion, though, Josh? Like, what was your inspiration to start a business focusing on the youth?
It wasn't my intention at first. So I grew up in the church house, and so, I had the preacher mom, the preacher dad, we're doing everything. And so most of the things you see me do today are kind of derived from being around that atmosphere, growing up in that type of environment. Right. And so one of those things was like playing piano. And so as I got better, my dad started letting me play for services. I became the main pianist. Then boom, more people started showing up. They started asking me like, hey, can you come play for our event? Can you come play this? Or maybe if it's outside of the church house, I might play at a nice jazz, sometimes out like a street performance. And then it got even better to the point where people were like, hey, can you teach me? Can you show me a little something? I've been trying to learn for years. So I picked that up, and then after a while, it's just like when I thought about doing lessons, I was thinking like, hey, maybe when I'm teaching people lessons, I can sit there and I can say, hey, blah, 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 like talk real life skills with them, be able to relate on that personal connection. And as I pursued that dream, I kind of just got the notion like, hey, this is what I want to do. And I developed that passion, and God just guided me to show me that he has so much more installed for me. And so I followed through with it, and I developed a passion for just empowering the youth, and I just stopped hiding behind my instrument.
Right. But what made you decide to turn your passions into like a business, like instead of just volunteering with your organization or your church?
I began like Sundays. Sundays, it was just normal. It would be like a little Bible school lesson. I'd probably teach the kids a little song, a little nice nursery rhyme, something, a little comment. It did, like, over time, it just became more fun. Like, I took the kids out to like a trip. Yeah. We went to, our first trip was supposed to be Illich's. R.I.P. Illich's, but we went out to Waterworld, and then the kids had really fun. They became their favorite place. They loved the wave pool. And being in that atmosphere, hearing how, like, they're brought into their problems, but, they're young and they're growing and they're maturing, just watching their process and being able to be a part of it, it just grew into something I wanted to do. So I decided to take it to another level, and I decided to branch out from what my parents gave me and, kind of step out into that individuality. And that's what made me want to start it as a business.
Right.
I feel like being a teenager with your ideas, I know that must have been a really hard burden on you to figure out what your next moves were. Like, it all came to you so fast, and it was just something new. And it must have been hard for you figuring out what your business layout would look like and communicating that to others to spread the message, Yeah. I really want to ask you, like, how you say your parents played a part in encouraging you to go through with the business plan, helping you get started, and, like, what were their initial thoughts about it?
I say they at first were just positively, like, just happy. They were supportive. Like, most of the times we don't see kids, kind of choosing these kinds of, how I say, like, career fields, these types of, choices, making these types of decisions. So to me, they seem over ecstatic, over happy. And I say my dad, his influence was big. Like, he kind of just naturally was my role model. I pick up after my dad a lot, from piano all the way to personality. So my dad's the type of person, like, he always has to get stuff done, whether he was asleep, whether he got to call off to maybe make something happen. Like, my dad gets it done. And on the contrary, my mom, she's always, like, supportive. If I tell my mom my idea, she's always trying to figure out a way to make it happen before, like, I can even get the sentence out. Right. The other day, when it came to prom, I'm talking to her, and she's like, oh, we need to get your shit right now. And I'm just like, I don't even know how much the tickets are. Like, she was just on it. So my mom was always supportive, and my dad was just kind of that role model for me. But overall, they was just genuinely positive.
Right.
Man, I wish I had that around me. They seem like they get things done, like, ASAP,
Definitely.
Like, I procrastinate in everything, and I need to break that habit, and especially if I want to do well in college, like, college is gonna be something else. Yeah. But what has been the impact of your business, though? Like, do you see your mentees, like, changing habits, like, thinking differently? Like, what is that?
A lot. So the biggest one, and my favorite one, is probably just seeing how they want it for themselves. Normally times like we strive, but it might be for the sake of others. I want to do better so that I can see this person happy, but they do it and it's starting to become like their own lifestyle. So, like, recently the kids was like, hey, I want to donate to kids in need. I said, okay, I said, what do y'all want to do? And they told me straight up, like, let's give up toys to the kids who need it. So in the hospital, I was thinking homeless, but they thought about hospital. And I said, okay, why not just both? And so we had gathered some toys. I posted a little video. I can show y'all later. And then we got all them toys. I bought some in excess so we could have a bunch. And we went out to the hospital and we donated over like $2,000 worth of toys, and I had to sign a waiver, and it was fun. And just seeing all their reactions about how their positivity shows. I had a kid who he was failing like 2 of his core classes, like, and not me, but his friends and the students inside Keys to the City. They decided like, hey, we'll stay and we'll come inside and we'll help you. Like, finish your assignments, we'll help you do your homework. I know this, I'm good at this, I can teach you. So watching how they all correlate with the life skills that I've imparted into them, like, I love it.
That's amazing. Like, the fact that you can inspire kids, and that's, like, even being young, like, what do you think inspired you to start your business at this age? Like, what told you, I'm going to do it now? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a big piece is like we're young, so like we always think like, hey, after I complete this, then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to college, and then this is what I'm gonna do. But I want it to be more part of that. Like, why not now? Like, why do we wait? Why do we? I wouldn't say procrastinate, but prolong things. You know, like sometimes we have a vision. Like, there's other ways to make things happen. Whether it's the big goal we have planned or just something slight. I feel like there's a step we can always take towards it right now in this very moment. So I wanted to be part of that movement of, hey, you can do it now. And so that's what I think drove me to do it now.
Yeah, like what were the steps to like creating your own business? And like, do you think like people, like, I know like your parents were a good support, but like what about the people like coming from nothing, you know what I mean, and just having to start on their own? Like, what would you say like really helped you like get started?
First, paper and pen. Write everything. What do you want? What does it look like? Who's involved? What are you going to need? What do you already have? And kind of just building out that layout. Once you have that outline, I feel like you have a variety of choices to make. Are you going to get these on your own? How are you going to reach out to different connections to get the help you need? Recently, like, one of the outlines I have is like, hey, I want to branch out. I want to get my name known farther. So I had reached out to Mr. Sims, and I'm like, hey, first, can I be a part of your program to see like, hey, what are you doing? Because you're impactful and people know you. How can I be involved, and can I be under your wing so I can see like, what are you doing? I'm making these resources. So I say my biggest thing, if you're starting from nothing, just write it out. Write out the plan. Write the vision and make it plain. So I would say just get paper and pen, write down everything, and start from there.
Yeah. And Sims Fayola is major. Like, even then, like, because isn't it like a fraternity kind of group kind of organization
sort of,
in a way? But like, even then, like, they had given me like they had funded part of my HBCU tour. And so even like the different connections you make, even if they're not focused towards young Black girls or anything like that, it's still nice to just gain connections, you know what
that's
I mean?
a good point. Networking is big.
Exactly.
Networking is big.
Like, what would you say like your biggest obstacle was though, really?
My biggest obstacle would have to be stepping out of my comfort zone. I wasn't surrounded by the necessary people who was going to take me to where I needed to be, who was going to support me and what I wanted. And so it was making the decision of, are these people valuable enough for me to give up on what I want to do and what I'm aspiring? And so kind of just having that positive mindset of, assessing like what needs to be done. And also just, I didn't feel welcome to other businesses. I didn't feel like they would trust that what I could do as a young Black male was sufficient enough to meet their needs and what they had in their head. And, us being people of color, we have to present ourselves twice as hard in everything that we do.
Yeah,
so that
100%.
barrier was really strong towards me.
Right. I was going to say, like, adding on to that, like, I know it's really stressful, especially with you being a young Black male. Like, starting a business is already a really risky thing in the first place, but you never know if it's going to draw the right kind of attention, or if you have all the resources you need for it to really, like, present itself in the professional way it needs to. So I think it's still really cool that you were able to make it happen regardless,
Right. And that just leads me just to the question, like, why do you think Black entrepreneurship is important? And I'm asking because I don't often see Black businesses, and especially where we live, So Black-owned businesses are made up about 3% of all the U.S. firms in 2022 that were classified by their race and ethnicity of their owners. And they accounted about just 1% of gross revenue from all the classifiable companies that year. Our youth should hear this and realize that that the business that they think of really needs to become a reality, because our community needs to become more present in entrepreneurship. Our presence in entrepreneurship is missing.
I like that. Black entrepreneurship is so important because we've been forced countless times to create and provide for our own history and over. For example, during the Jim Crow and segregation era, Black communities were excluded from white-owned businesses, so they had to create their own. We didn't have no other choice. One notable example is like the Black Wall Street. You know, back in the 1900s, Greenwood was one of the most wealthiest Black communities in the United States, filled with tons of Black-owned banks, Black-owned schools, Black-owned theaters, Black grocery stores, everything. But Black entrepreneurship, to a certain extent, was our survival. It wasn't that we could; it's that we literally had to. Right?
Yeah, and definitely like you still see some of it kind of like going away. Like even back in Denver, like 5 Points and stuff like that. It used to be Black businesses, you know, full of Black people. But then gentrification came, you know, and kind of changed things around.
Right.
And literally, it's that social innovation aspect, like within itself. You know, like us as a community have to create positive change, implementing impactful solutions that will actually solidify. And especially like the Black entrepreneur, there are so many businesses like hiring minorities and really focusing on like breaking past poverty and separation, you know, like there is kind of like a supremacy that has taken over the business environment, and it forces minorities to like work harder, you know, than our peers. And there's just a lack of trust, and kind of like I understand what you're saying, just like towards the Black population, and it causes like motivation faults or like scares, you know, in the Black community. And we're always required to find those connections and those resources, because often those with like the power and resources to do so, they don't see us as a community that is capable. It keeps this idea that the businessman is a middle-aged white man, and that's kind of what they want. And I mean, it's true. Like, where is the opportunity for us?
Right. That is what they want. Like, I feel like it's part of a plan. And some people work towards that plan and apply stereotypes over Black people's heads without even realizing the disrespect.
Exactly. And there are 12.5 male business owners, comprising about 41% of the 30.5 million total owners of small businesses in America. There are 11.6 million women-owned business, and 65 of them are white-owned. And 6.5 million businesses are owned by men of color. It puts people of color, and especially women of color, at the very bottom.
And it's crazy because Black women literally work the hardest out of anyone I see. And I got plenty of examples, like my mom, Dr. Brown, and a lot of historical figures that we all know.
Yeah.
I feel like this point of view has definitely had a direct effect on how Black people approach becoming business individuals. Like, there's definitely proof of that in most Black entrepreneur testimonies. And a common problem with Black businesses is that they struggle to like really find the resources they need to employ a lot of people, and people who look like them, who are willing to collaborate and help the business thrive over time. And this explains why a lot of businesses fail before they even have a chance to become successful or be recognized by the public. And despite growing at a rate of 30%, but between 2018 and 2021, Black-owned businesses with at least 2 employees represent only 2.5% of all businesses in the United States, which is really low. And these businesses are smaller, with only 3% having more than 20 employees, with the vast majority having fewer than 5 employees.
Wow.
So many businesses aren't actually generating any solid, so many tongue ties, but they're not generating any solid income that could grow the business. And instead, like, the businesses are actually the owners are using most of their earnings to make a living for themselves. And that kind of limits the growth of their business, you know, because if Black business owners could have the same funding opportunities that are given to the white business owners, they could have more resources that are needed to see more money coming in.
Right.
Definitely.
And it's unfair that the statistics show that 57% of Black business owners are denied a loan at least once when trying to start their business, compared to 37% of non-Black business owners.
Yeah, that kind of just shows that like sometimes the workplace isn't valuing minorities, especially like not even giving them access to proper funding to start their own businesses. And like these uncomfortable work environments for the Black individual, forcing them to act a certain way, to have a successful career, while also having a lack of Black cultural representation. And like systems are even pushing out natural hairstyles because they are conformed to what looks professional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great point too, because every time I'm getting ready for a meeting or I gotta get ready for an interview, I'm always self-conscious about my hair.
Exactly. Men and women both. Like even for the Crown Act in 2023, there was a research study. Black women's hair is 2.5 times as likely as white women's hair to be perceived as unprofessional. The same study showed that 2/3 of Black women change their hair for a job interview. They will straighten their hair to be seen as professional. I will never straighten my hair because you think I don't look professional. That's the craziest part. There was an entire legislation just for Black individuals to not be discriminated against for their natural hair.
I did not know that.
We have to change our authentic selves just to make money like everybody else. You don't see them asking everybody else to change their hair or change what they're wearing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And even then, I still feel, even with the legislation, I still struggle to find the job because of my locks. And like, they can be all over the place sometimes. But when I'm in a business presence, like a job interview, you know, I get dressed, I put my hair up, I dress nicely and everything. But still, though, I feel discriminated against and put under people that are the other people that are applying. Like,
exactly. And that you shouldn't have to feel like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, they want us to go into jobs and careers and stuff like that, but they make careers look like we don't even want to be a part of it. We're gonna just have to sit there and be uncomfortable for the rest of our lives. Like, that's why we should really be advocating for Black entrepreneurs, because we shouldn't have to be forced into a workplace that doesn't even accept our natural stage. That's what I don't understand.
And to me, I see it as us being a little too good for those workplaces in the first place.
Yes.
Because we shouldn't have to change something we were naturally born with. It's just ridiculous to me. And that's honestly how I feel about dentistry. Like, I feel like because I want to become a dentist, like, most of the people I see in those professions are usually just white people most of the time. And even when I do see Black dentists, there are like very few of them, which is giving me a little bit of doubt about how Black people are represented in a dominant working field like healthcare, which is honestly why I want my own practice. Like, I never wanted to just be an associate dentist, even though I know I'll have to work through that to eventually build my own name. I just want to be the role model, like showing that Black people can be high performing dentists, and I hope to be recognized for this by the Black community as well. There is that misconception that Black people don't have the intelligence to properly perform the way they should when they're working in these environments, and this is the kind of job where you're trusted with the health and the comfort of others. So of course it's taken way more serious, and you're looked at a lot more. And this is why more of us need to be given a chance. That's why it becomes more common for us to be in those fields. And with being in those fields, you're always under that constant pressure of people trying to examine you and see if you're really fit to be doing what you're doing.
Exactly. You know? And like, that honestly played a part, like, in me picking my major as well. Like, I'm going into media, but for the longest I wanted to go into aerospace engineering. Like, I always had this dream to work for NASA. Even when I was little, like,
NASA.
I'm saying, like, I had NASA hoodies, NASA stickers, NASA posters. I wanted to work for NASA so bad.
We're gonna send you to space, bro.
That's the thing. I don't want to be like an astronaut, but I want to work the math components of space, you know, and stuff like that. But there's also so many movings in this history of like Black women just being kind of treated unfairly in those spaces. And I know that I found something that I was a little bit more passionate about, you know, like, I was really interested in engineering, and I even did engineering camps and stuff like that. But then I also do always feel uncomfortable, and I'm always having to be the one to like step up and say something. But then even when I say something, people look at me sideways. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like there's so many different areas and doors for Black communities and for Black people to just work in different environments. And like, all props to you though. Like, being a Black doctor, like, Black doctors are literally gonna rule the world.
No, thank you, because I always think about that. Like, one of the main reasons for me wanting to go into dentistry was always the idea of me being my own boss. I also, like, at first I wanted to be a dental assistant, but then somebody said something that really stuck with me and was like, why not just become a dentist? You know, like, you're going through all that work anyways. Why not be in charge? Why not, you know, have all the knowledge that not everyone in the room has?
Yeah, and that's part of what we're taught too. You know, from elementary all the way to high school, we're taught how to work for somebody. We're taught to be an employee. You're not really trained to be taught how own your business, be a boss, you know.
And you can be a role model for other girls, you know, wanting to go into dentistry. Like, that's amazing.
I definitely see that as like a form of entrepreneurship. And I want to use this to bring more Black representation in my community who want to be more connected to Black dentists.
Right. And it's the same for my field. Like, I want to be a therapist. And when does anyone ever see an African-American male therapist?
Rarely.
Exactly. There aren't very many. And in fact, it's said that only 4% of the whole psychology workforce identifies as Black. And out of that, only 8% are males. Like, that just goes to show how my career is going to look. I won't see a lot of people that look like me, and that says a lot. Like, it says a lot.
But even besides that, like, that's amazing that you want to go into mental health, because the mental health area is huge, and there's a lack of Black representation. So it really is such an achievement for you as a Black male therapist.
Right. And thank you. we gotta work on our minds to work on our lives. You know, like
That's good.
what do you guys think hinders young Black entrepreneurs? Like what I see among my gender, young African American males, is the promotion of popularity in sports. Like we just had the draft, like the whole last week, everyone's been talking about the draft. Like that's what people are talking about. Like education and dreams, they aren't really in the spotlight, especially for the youth.
Yeah, that's a good point. One thing I really feel like hinders Black entrepreneurs is like their lack of authenticity, and this is like a big theme of who we as young people choose to like associate with.
Yep.
So like, for example, a study done by the Life Sciences Education showed that students express very high levels of the fear of negative evaluation about behaviors like making too many comments in class, talking while the instructor is speaking, or asking too many questions. And to me, it's like if students aren't showing up as their authentic selves, how much more their lifelong dreams that they've been planning or secretly hoping for, you know?
Yeah, and I do honestly think it does go into who our role models are as well and who we're surrounded by. I think often we are surrounded by people who want us to go into career, like exactly what you're saying. But when are we really asked, what's our business proposal? You know what I mean? I just think that being an entrepreneur does come with passion and connections like we've been talking about. And the Black community is often like looked down upon in certain areas, you know what I mean? And it can make things difficult. And I think it really depends on like your motivation and even like that authentic part of it. We're forced to feel uncomfortable and forced to not want to be authentic. Like sometimes, Paris, you talk about wanting to take your piercings out for a job interview.
Right.
Why should you have to do that? Why should you have to be anybody else than yourself? Like that's what makes the job, like just the area just feel different. You know what I mean? And like also who you're surrounded by. Like in Denver, like I would want to start my own business too. And even Atlanta has been rated the #1 city in the whole country to have the most amount of Black entrepreneurs and Black businesses. And that honestly makes me feel a sort of way. When I want to open my business, my restaurant or whatever, I'm going to want to open it in Atlanta, you know, where I can be supported and be around other Black entrepreneurs who can help me build more connections, you know what I mean? And it might be a little different here in Denver, you know?
Right. Definitely. I agree. And I feel like it's really the lack of confidence and like a little bit of concern that they might not end up being as fortunate as they originally planned. Like there are also those doubts, like what I mentioned with the money to fund their businesses. And with the loans, is like the way that Black businesses starters are usually getting denied with assistance is just, it kind of makes that reality of opening the business a little hard to get to. Like it costs money to make money. And if you don't have any startup, then it's almost not possible sometimes. And this could be why many people who start off with their own business either give up early or they start to feel like just being an employee and working for someone for the rest of their lives is a less stressful path to take because it's more guaranteed and it's less of a risk to take, you know?
Right. That's why in our history, we innovated in every single way that we needed to. Like, I feel like the Black community has lost that because everything has become more hidden than in our faces. And a lot of people are blinded by distractions like the media. Like, why are success rates or Black entrepreneurs so downplayed, so low in rates now? Like,
yeah, I feel like a lot of financial literacy has been kept away from Black entrepreneurs. And that's why even when they do start businesses, it seems like the profit that's been made, it never stays long in the community. And on top of that, how are they ever supposed to be given a chance when even the banks don't want to see them win? Like they don't want to approve the request for startup money. Like this just shows the lack of compassion there is for the new Black business owners who are hoping to receive the help they need. It's just, it's really a shame. And it makes me feel bad for people who had their businesses but weren't able to take off because of the financial burdens.
Yeah, and exactly. Like without funding, what does the future of Black entrepreneurship look like? And I think the future of Black entrepreneurship looks like us, like future dentists, future media producers, Black business owners, therapists, etc. And a youth that aspires to do much more than what we see around us.
Yeah, this is because not only are we acknowledging how difficult it's been for most Black business owners to make a decent living off their own establishments, but we also want to be the examples of those individuals who form their own independent careers despite all the struggle and backlash that we understand hinders our opportunities.
Yeah, I feel like Black entrepreneurship has room for tons of potential, but like I see rooms for increase. And for instance, even with the DI being removed, like that puts us in a place of having to be creative once again. So I see lots of room for potential
Yeah, exactly. And like that's what I'm trying to say. Like black entrepreneurs are that social innovation. Like we can control everything. Like DEI won't matter if we are the ones owning the businesses.
Right.
We are the ones controlling it, making it happen. Like at the end of the day, you can't care about Trump and this and that because it's your business, your rules. And I'm gonna hire who I want when I run my business. You know, if I'm the one putting in my energy and time, then I'm gonna do it how I want to. You know what I mean? And starting a business is always the goal. You don't want to be a contractor for the rest of your life. You want to be a CEO. You want to be on an island while your business or whatever is just making money and you see the numbers going up. You know what I'm saying? That's always the goal.
Right. I always feel like we have to do our best to stay firmly grounded in our plans and be ready to represent our businesses, even in predominantly white spaces that may feel unwelcoming.
Yeah. What do you guys think that could help like ensure positive outcomes for black businesses?
What we can definitely do is do our best to look out for black businesses. Like we should shop in our own communities and be intentional about where we spend our time and money at. Like we've got to make sacrifices. We got to be willing to make sacrifices first of all.
And normally they are a little bit pricey, but you got to be willing to pitch in because we need it.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, definitely. Us choosing to like come through for each other is really important as well.
Yep.
Like you see a lot of successful multi-million-dollar businesses, they only get to where they are with the help of networking and being connected with other people who want to see them get as far. And you got to be careful with who you surround yourself with, especially when you know you have big plans.
Yeah. And we do honestly like have to stick together and just invest in each other's investments. I feel like the only reason we don't see as much support is honestly like the accessibility to black businesses.
Yeah, true.
Like I feel like it's hard to wholeheartedly support your community when we're stuck in the middle of Denver or just in areas where you don't see many black businesses. There isn't a large group of black businesses to choose from, and it's also that like maybe it's too pricey, like maybe I can't afford it, or maybe it's just way too far for me to go. And so I think it really is our responsibility as black individuals to support our brothers and sisters who are creating their businesses. But it also just it's hard in locations where you're at. And like we need to be opening the next Walmart, the next Target, so we know that we can be playing like a vital role in just when we're buying everyday things like laundry detergent or paper towels, but no, you're funding a black entrepreneur who is actually vital to the success of the black community.
Yeah. One thing I want to say as like a call to action, like adding on to what you said, is I want to always show that support and commitment to the black community, just showing that I'm always advocating for fair treatment in any aspect, whether it's business, education, or even a specific talent like media or, you know, like art or anything like that. And I feel like we never really expect to see our community. We can't ever expect to see our communities grow if we aren't putting in the effort to help them be seen.
Definitely.
And as future business professionals and the role model, we need to be role models, continuing to reflect on our own actions. And if we feel they aren't helping the black community in any way, then why are we even still engaging in those traits? And I always try my best to show support whenever I'm given the chance to do so.
Exactly. And like Josh said, K through 12 schools teach the youth to become employees instead of, you know, business owners. So even through the growth in our community size, less and less black people are seeming to want to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and touching on that, that's one of the things I hope with my youth organization. You know, like I hope they launch out and they pursue their own dreams, and I hope they think bigger than just the surface. You know, I hope they dive deeper past that level and they want to start their own businesses as well. It's not really even that hard, but it does take work. Like, you know, for me, there are some basic things that I learned and some things that I think people really need to know. Like, the first thing is to, like, you know, have a good outline, have a good plan, but then get advice. You know, sometimes we could be kind of so selfish, like, no, this is my plan. Be open. You know, sometimes we get hard-headed and we get naive to other people's thoughts because we think they're going to take over what I think, or their input don't really matter because I got it all planned out. Like, be open to really hearing what other people have to say because there's a lot of resources out here.
Yeah, definitely. And like once you know like what kind of business you want, you need to like start registering. Like with Colorado, you have to go to the Secretary of State and register your business structure. So you still need to have an idea, but like even having a foundation to help you build that idea, and you know you have to file the paperwork. But like if you guys had your dream business, like I know Josh, like that might be your dream business, but like what would you guys name it, or like what would you have as your business? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Like I don't know what I would name my business. I feel like it will probably come to me like when I get there. You know?
What would it be too?
What would it be?
Yeah.
Something around therapy or mental health, especially something around because a lot of black people they they try to like push out help. You know, like we like to restrict ourselves a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right. Like I feel like the name of my business, it would have to be unique. Like it's so hard starting a dental practice and having a unique name without including the word smile or
Yeah.
little teeth or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be anything that's too common.
Yeah.
You know?
Would you just do like regular dental, or would you do like the tooth gems and stuff like that too?
Well, the thing is, like, it's so complicated. There's just so many specialties in dentistry. And the one that involves gems, I learned about the different fields, and it's like cosmetic dentistry or something, which is great. Like, all of them pay really good money and they're good careers. But I would aim for more of the real, like, scary stuff, like the needles and cavities and the tooth extractions, you know.
That's all you and I.
Yeah, I also like the one that focuses on braces, orthodontics. But I don't know what I want to specialize in, honestly. That'll be like years from now. We'll just see. What about you, though? I know you want to get into media, and there's just so many different branches. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Well, I'm honestly kind of the same way. Like, I just want to see, like, where it takes me. I would love to be, like, a movie producer or an event producer. Like, even what we do now, you know, like, scripting things out, organizing, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
Events?
And like
Events and stuff.
yes, and like coordinating people, like performers, you know, and dancers and stuff like that. And I definitely think I want to really expand on like the influence of fashion, media, and all of that. And I know I want to be around as like many different types of media as possible. But I think like for my business, I've always wanted to like open a restaurant. I know I keep saying I've always wanted to do this and I always wanted to do this, but I do like I'm gonna do everything exactly. So I'm definitely gonna have my restaurant though, like.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat there.
Yeah, literally, I'm gonna invite all you guys. It's gonna be like 10 years, and y'all are gonna be there.
We're gonna be there. All right. So number 2, choose a business structure like a sole proprietorship or an LLC. You know, like which is most common. Both of them are the most common structures for small businesses. Like it's important to step. It's an important step you have to take to open a business, and choosing like a good business structure, like a limited liability company or an LLC is one.
Yeah.
Another is getting a sole proprietorship. An LLC is a business structure that is, as its name implies, it provides added legal protections against personal liabilities, and it provides the benefits of a corporation while protecting you and your personal properties, like your personal assets, like your home and your savings and everything like that.
I definitely agree. That organization is like the most important factor when you're starting a business. And adding to what Josh said a little bit about being open to feedback and stuff, like partnership is also important. Like if you're usually the kind of person that imagines doing everything alone, it's always beneficial to have someone else helping you keep up with the finances and the responsibilities.
Yeah.
And that brings us to number 3 of obtaining an EIN number. An EIN number is a federal tax ID number for businesses and like tax exempt organizations or any other things like that, and it's required for tax purposes. So open a business bank account.
Yes. Step 4, finances. It's important that you guys are managing what is even coming in.
Yep.
It's easy to get money to come in, and it's twice as easy to spend. It's important that you guys open up a business account and keep your personal money separate from your business money. It's important that you have a separate bank account for your business to keep your finances separate from your own finances. Also, having that business outline, that's going to help you keep it into play too, because when you know what you want, it's going to make you easier to manage. You're going to know how much you need to save. You're going to have kind of that concept idea of, okay, I need to put this money down for this day, and maybe I had this money for shoes, but this money is going here, so keep in mind.
Yeah. And also, like, if you're looking for opportunities in Denver, like, I don't know if you guys, like, I know with Denver Public Schools, I've had, like, certain internships and stuff where I get paid through Young Americans Bank. You get this, like, little blue card. But they also have a program called Youth Biz, and it's really a great source about learning about entrepreneurship and opportunities for a hands-on program to learn about real-life experiences and even help, like, create real-life business ideas for marketing and selling products.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we have a decent amount of programs around us to help support us.
Definitely.
Black people, yeah. But we also want to show our support to the young Black entrepreneurs that we do know, like at our school.
Yeah.
So y'all know Joe, y'all know Kayla, she sells cookies. Joe, he does clothes.
Shout out Exotic Geekers, man.
Joe be killing it, right?
Yeah.
And then Amya, she does
Amaya,
my fault. She does burritos.
She does them little breakfast burritos.
That sounds fire. Yeah.
Another important step is to develop a business plan that outlines your business goals and strategies. A business plan allows you to write out your business in extreme detail and to show people you are serious about starting a business. Right. It includes everything from your visions to your marketing to your budget. It makes you consider everything it takes to start and run your business. There are all kinds of programs and resources out there for youth who want to start a business, so you can get help if you need it.
Yeah, and I know in Denver public schools, like if you have internships or any places where you're like earning money, there's Young Americans Bank, and you'll apply for like the blue card and stuff like that. Yeah. But they also have a program called Youth Biz, where it's specifically for entrepreneurship and opportunities for getting on-hand experience for real life experiences, and it can help you create real business ideas and even help with marketing and selling product. So that's definitely a good opportunity. And if you want to learn more about it, you can search up the YA Center.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that we have, a decent amount of programs around us that like to help, young Black entrepreneurs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we also want to show our support to the young Black entrepreneurs in DPS.
That's it for this episode. Thank you guys. We hope you enjoyed our conversation, and thanks for joining us on Black Voices in Colored.
If you enjoy our show, please let us know how you're feeling about topics so far and what we'll be discussing as a whole. Leave your comments or feedback on our Instagram page, and be sure to come back before our next episode. Of course, until our next remarkable comeback, be sure to
awaken the soul, empower the mind.